welcome to this Impact workshop. I'm really happy to see you today. And I look forward to working with you on your impact and on whatever may come up that helps you move yourself, your life, your business, your speaking, your visibility forward. All right, so what are we going to work on today? Let's find out where you are, how you are, if there's something on your mind, heart, and agenda that I can attend to. And if not, as you know, I have a whole toolkit of games and strategies to help you improve your speaking, your visibility, your impact, your confidence, and these wonderful things. I'm personally quite fired up at the moment. I've just started a new contract with the co-op leadership team, getting them ready to speak in a stadium in September. So I've got all cylinders firing over here. Use it. And let's start with you, Bob. Tell me, why are you here today? What would you done?
I'm always looking to learn new communication skills. Anything that can help me to create and communicate messages to those I'm trying to reach is good for me.
Great. Who are you trying to reach?
Clients, I help people with communication challenges that they may have, business, mainly politicians. Hi.
Hello. There's my executive assistant. One moment. What do you need, Taffy? You said it's
Hi.
urgent? Not today. Yeah, but we said not today because that's your consequence from yesterday. We're going to stick with it. I know. And that's how it is right now. Then next time, don't break the rules. Okay?
Can I listen to the story?
No, we said no phone. And now you will, Taffo, you will respect the rule of not disturbing mommy, yes?
Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Close the door.
Have a nice time.
Thank you. Love you. Can you close it properly, please? No, we can't.
So cute.
Super cute. Consequences with a 12-year-old. This is a new era where they're pushing the boundaries. They get consequences and they're trying to get away from it because he knows I'm in nice mood now, right? Because I'm on a call. I'm not going to go, clever. All right.
Adorable. Very cute.
He's very cute. So you're reaching your clients, politicians, you said?
Yeah, mainly politicians. I want to help them get elected. And here in the United States, it's a very tenuous time. So any support that I can give people on my side of the ledger is good.
Thank you. And how do you do that so far?
Well, I work mainly with groups of politicians, and I instruct them to come prepared to give a smaller version of their stump speech, and we critique them, and then we also have them do Q&A with each other, as if one person is playing the part of the reporter or a constituent or a voter, and the other person is the candidate. And then we videotape it, play it back, and then figure out how they did and how they could do better next time.
Oh, that's brilliant. So role play.
Yeah. A lot of
love a bit of that. Love a bit of that. Okay. And I'm going to guess that to get through to people who have to be so careful with what they say, one of the best ways to communicate will be through stories.
Yes, I always encourage stories, illustrations, narratives. I tell them it brings your messages to life, but it has to represent what you believe in. Correct. It just can't be a story for the sake of a story. It has to really mean something and to connect with the audience.
It really has. Just me telling you about last time I went to the supermarket, right? Yeah, and I've met my neighbor Sally, and then she said that he said, no. It's not story for story's sake. It's story about relevance.
Yeah.
Are you familiar about?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you know what fables are?
I beg your pardon?
Fables. Back in the day, people told a lot of fables. The stories with animals as the main, the characters. You know, they were designed. They were created to share politically messages.
Yeah.
That you could never speak to the king directly.
Right.
But if you have a fable and it's the lion and the fox and the snail talking, then I don't say anything. So there's something incredibly powerful about stories and about representing our characters in different formats in order to bring messages across.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how many fables and stories do you employ so far?
I don't with politicians because they have to live in the real world, and the stories that they tell or what their voters, constituents are telling them, and
Mhm.
uh, and how it's affecting their lives, and then in turn how my clients can do something, say something that will have a positive
Okay.
effect on them.
So you have, your clients have the Bob story. I mean, it's funny you're called Bob, but the idea is my friend Bob said, like, this happened to my friend Bob. So you can always talk about my friend Bob or somebody to whom this happened, and then we did this to
Yeah,
illustrate what you need to be
yeah,
doing. That's
yeah,
another way of storytelling.
yeah,
But I
absolutely.
mean, for you personally, for you to get messages across to your clients, you could employ more stories, and you can also employ fantasy stories if you wanted to.
Yeah, I absolutely use real stories, but they're more reality based than they are
Hmm. Hmm.
fantasy or made up stuff.
Yeah,
My
super.
life is
Okay.
rich enough. I don't need to.
Yeah, I think, I agree with you. I get that. Yeah. So let's see how we can play with that.
Cool.
Vanessa, you are here for the first time. What do you know? If you know, what would you love to get out of today? Is there something we think, you know what, this thing that you said when I watched you, I want to hear more about that. Oh, what's happening?
Well, my big dream and push now is to get the Silver Speakers program organized. And I've been talking to a potential speaker today again. And I thought, and it was after I spoke to her, I thought, well, we can't sit around and say, let's talk about it, in a couple of months. This is really now stuff. So I love the immediacy of the way you talk as well. And of course, I know Sue Bailey as well has her talks that need to come out. And that's it, basically. It's just picking up on the now. It's tuning in. It's, you know what it is? It's riding the crest of the wave. It's sort of picking up on the vibe. And a specific, I haven't really got a specific at the moment. It's still bubbling away there.
Okay, but the idea is you're putting together a program to help the Silver Tent women be speakers and be represented as speakers.
Yes, so actually organize a team of speakers who will be silver speakers and speak at various events, and whenever. It's very much storytelling, and we know that it's completely tied to our stories and how we can revise our stories and continue to tell the relevant story. And yes, fables are completely there for us. We know that real life is only as real as we want to imagine it. And that's so that's where we are.
I like it. Thank you so much. Ebot, if you can speak, it'd be lovely to hear from you. And if you can't, I know you are listening in. Yes, check. Okay. Sue, is there something specific on your heart and mind that you want to get to today?
Yes, I want to maintain my confidence after a fall. This is a plastic shield with a pretend tooth in it.
Oh, wow.
Because I fell and shattered the thing the tooth sits in, the bone in the gum or whatever. And I've got to have surgery. So at the moment, I feel like I'm talking with a lisp, and that is their pretend teeth.
Wow.
Sitting in a gum shield.
Yeah.
So
what happens after the surgery? Will you have like amazing teeth after the surgery? Is it one of those you come out and you look like?
Well, it's going to be 2 implants because I've done so much damage to the root. They can't do caps or anything like that.
Okay.
So they call it surgery. I call it holy shit.
Okay, but after the holy shit, you'll look great.
Yeah,
and
but I feel it has knocked my confidence. So because I feel like I'm talking with a different mouth.
Yes, you are right now. I mean, I guess that's fair to say.
Yeah.
So let's see what we can do there for you. I'm going to argue that when things are difficult, they're difficult. There's that. Like,
I'm seeing it through the somebody said something really wise about this. They said, you've given yourself a gap, and in that gap you can make a change. And in the past, Vanessa's spoken about Thomas the Tank Engine and being on tracks. And there's all these metaphors about me coming into my the full me.
Okay, I like that.
I've got to make space for it. And that's what happened.
You literally made some space in your teeth. Okay. So we're landing right there in the land of metaphors, in the land of meaning. And this is another way where stories and images are so powerful. They can give meaning to events that otherwise would feel very painful. This is important in politics as well, right? We are looking for meaning. And this is important for us as humans. We are continuously looking for meaning. Now, there are different ways to approach this. We have this, okay, we as humans are meaning-making machines, let's find some meaning, and we can go at it from a very rational side. We can approach this from a spiritual side and say, actually, we are also continuously looking for who we are, where we came from. And some of us might find that we are spiritual beings having this human experience, and really everything points to who am I as a soul? What does my soul want to express through me, through this body, through the stories, through my experiences? And I like to invite people to play in both of those realms and unify them. I find this incredibly enriching and meaningful. Having said that, I will not press it upon anyone, that I think that, looking for what our soul is calling us to do is a very powerful and potent way to approach life. And you can play with that as much or as little as you want. I think what I'd like to do with you today is let's get our creativity going and play. Let's play some impact games so you get a real idea of what we can do. Let me think which one I want to do. I prepared a couple. How about word association? Okay, this is very tame, but let's start there. Let's start with a word association game. I'll say a word. Vanessa, you tell me your response to the word. Vanessa says a word. Bob, you tell her the response to the word. Bob says a word. Sue Bailey gives the response to the word. The idea is that we're doing a very quick fire association. Don't think about it forever. If I say beach, you say sand, for example. No? If I say ball, you might say basket. Who knows? But whatever comes up. So we're going quite quick fire if we can. Let's do 2 rounds. Is that clear? So me and Vanessa, Bob, Bob, Sue, Sue, Evelyn. Okay. Glasses.
Water.
Evaporate.
Sea.
Wind.
Turbines.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Turbines.
Speed.
Racing.
Horses.
Grand National.
Wind.
Repeat.
Stop. Okay, great. Thank you. So that was a very simple word association game. Let's do a 1 word at a time story. So these are games from the world of improvisation. One of the things that fascinates me about improvisation is the ability to be so present that you can make up what needs to be made up on the spot. And what most people don't know is that that skill, as most skills, are honed. And the skill of being a good improviser is so crucial when we are on a stage, when we are in front of people, when we are under pressure, when we are anywhere really, that I really love stretching that. So here is a 1 word at a time story. I'm going to say a word, just like I just did, but this time Vanessa is going to continue with a word that makes a story. We want to create a story out of those words, okay? So if I say once, you'll probably say upon a time. There was a princess who had a dragon as a pet, whatever. Let's see, okay? Yesterday.
And tomorrow.
My turn. Yesterday, tomorrow, and forever, I am searching for meaning in life.
Beautiful, but 1 word.
Ah,
So yesterday.
searching.
So yesterday and tomorrow.
Searching.
Inside.
Myself.
Deeply.
Hopeful.
Intentional.
There's up to 2 words. I was. Full stop. If we were to write that sentence down, it would be a little convoluted. So let's think about it as we're very good writers and we're driving the story forward. There's only so many adjectives that a sentence needs, right? Make sure we're going somewhere with it. Let's start again. We go quite fast. You have up to 2 words because otherwise it gets a bit right, dry. Every time
Yolanda saw
something she liked,
but was refused.
to touch it,
she knew
that she was compelled to move forward.
Otherwise,
where would she go?
unhappy she couldn't be.
Stopped in any way.
you say stabbed?
Stopped.
Stop.
STOPPED.
Otherwise, no, I've said that. Stopped in any way due to
Her mother's.
Was that another or a mother?
mother.
Her mother's.
Deep prejudice.
That she's always had.
Since childhood.
Against dragons.
Yolanda's dragon
Is what propels her.
Into the night sky.
She simply loves.
and also fears.
Being herself.
Which is sad.
But true.
I have to take dinner out the oven just a second.
Keep going. That was good.
1 second.
Bob, build on this.
What was the last thing said again? Sorry.
She said I have to take dinner out of the oven.
So I don't burn dinner.
It would be ruined if I didn't.
Yolanda sighed a deep sigh. Gonna skip. Let's go to you, Bob. Oh, no, she's back. Did you hear us, Vanessa?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so we
Yolanda
are
sighed a deep sigh, knowing it was true.
That this is her lot in life.
But it can be changed in a moment.
If only.
And when
She started listening to herself.
Which she frequently does, which she doesn't do yet.
My heart hurts.
and will feel better.
When she takes charge of her life.
Whose heart are we talking about?
She wondered as she looked down at the scribblings of her diary.
Then she remembered.
This is what I believe in.
And it hasn't always been this way.
I simply have these 2 personality traits.
And my dragon
Is what inspires me.
Fuels my fire.
To really come alive. Let's take it to that. Ah, Yolanda's Dragon and the Truth of Her Heart. Title of this story we just created. What did you notice? What did you notice when you did that? I'm going to give you a couple of observations. I noticed that Vanessa didn't like to drive the story forward. She often latched onto what I said and added to it rather than moving somewhere else. I noticed Bob liked to have more words and bring sentences to a conclusion. I noticed Sue took quite some time to really think about what she was going to say, because you took this quite seriously. It was beautiful. What else did I know? I noticed April didn't say anything, but hopefully she enjoyed the exercise. And I noticed myself wanting to take the story somewhere absolutely magnificent and always having an idea of where it could go, adapting every time somebody said something, which maybe that happened to you too, but I could notice about myself. What did you notice? Bob, what are your observations?
I think I wanted to add some action to the story. My feeling about where I was.
You wanted to add action, and did you?
Yeah, I think I did. I
Good.
think I moved our story along.
Sue, you're thinking, what did you notice?
I am thinking. I noticed that I was confused when Bob gave long sentences, because I thought I was trying to think of 2 words, and then when he said a long sentence, I thought, oh, now what's happening?
Yeah, so you went a little bit against the rules. That was confusing.
That's pretty much me.
Naughty boy, isn't he?
Yeah, that's that. I would
Just didn't know
perfect.
whether to continue in a long sentence or do a short one.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So because he broke the rules, it made you confused, like, oh, so should I adapt to what he's doing, or should I keep a short one, or should I do what Evelyne said? Now, what's the deal? It throws things a little out of balance. It's interesting, isn't it? What do we do? My default pattern is to adapt to whatever is happening. I'm very used to improvising. You like to know what's happening. And so that was a bit disconcerting. How are you going to get it right now, given that he's done that thing? It's a good observation. Anything else you observed?
I felt wanted to get more creative and stop the little joining words.
Good. That's a beautiful desire. And so these observations, they're often metaphorical for other places in life as well, right? So I can ask you, Sue, have you noticed other places in life where somebody does something a bit different, but and that throws you a little?
Yeah, I always do things different to the status quo.
You do, yeah, you are the one who does things different, but in this case, Bob did something different and it threw you a bit. Does that happen when people suddenly change on you, that you get a bit startled? Yes. And it could easily happen on a stage situation or in a speech situation where something suddenly goes very different and we go, oh, yeah. So it's an interesting observation. And this is how I responded in that moment. Let me just check quickly. I think there was something in the chat. I don't look at the chat very much. Abot said, indeed, I didn't say anything. I'm really enjoying the spontaneity and creativity. Great narrative. Thank you. Okay, great. Beautiful. What other observations do we have? Vanessa, what's yours?
I felt very limited by just the 2 words, and it's very foreign to me to comply. And I realize how foreign it is to me to comply. So it's really interesting you raised both of those points.
But yet, did you feel you complied, or did you feel you went rebel mode?
No, I stayed I made efforts to stay within the limitation of 2 words.
Okay.
Even though the drive was to fly with more ideas, and that's what caused the. It shows that it's more proof to me that when I limit myself, it limits everything.
Interesting thought. When you limit yourself, it limits everything. Okay, let's try another round of this, because what we did is we loosened the rules into 2 words, and it suddenly becomes a phrase. The real game is 1 word at a time. It's hugely limiting. Yet, if we come together as a team and imagine ourselves as a 1, 2, 3, 4-headed beast,
Dragon.
a dragon. If we are a 4-headed dragon, speaking as one, trust that we can build a story with 1 word only. So if I only say A, let me be fine with that. I'm going to put my ego on the back shelf. Maybe next round I get a bigger word that can drive. Let's see what we can do. We'll speak slowly to give you time to speak, but do not leave a gap. Say whatever comes out. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yolanda.
Draws.
Beautiful.
Picture.
Every.
Time.
He
Vomits.
Surprises.
Well, one word. We're strict now.
Surprises.
Oh, surprises.
Surprises.
Surprises, sorry. I thought the prize is surprises.
Him. Him.
often.
With.
Bananas.
Again.
Becoming.
Strong.
Is that strong? Strong. Every.
Time.
He
Vomits.
More.
Sickly.
dunge.
Coming strong every time he vomits more sickly dunge. Fast.
Fast, was that?
I said fast because I don't even know what dunge means. So I just had to make something up to make a choice here. Dunge fast.
Tomorrow.
Forward.
One.
Step.
Is that step?
Step.
Down.
Fell.
Tumbling.
Sense. Tomorrow, forward, fell, stumbling, sense. Okay, we need to work on our writing skills, clearly, because that didn't make any sense to me. But we tried, okay? So you see how difficult it actually is to let go enough to build a story 1 word at a time. That was interesting. We are clearly not yet a team, right? And so as if we were to play this more often, we would learn to read and feel one another so that we can fill the space with sense, rather than everybody having an idea of where it needs to go, saying something and trying. It's very interesting.
Can we try again, knowing I had a sense that I was in a battle with myself, trying to take the story somewhere and trying to follow the word, and they didn't go together.
That's it, Sue. Beautifully articulated. And that happens all the time. We're trying to follow a story, and then something else goes this way, and we're sometimes not finding the way in between. Communication is when I feel the other person and I'm able to meet them where they're actually at. Even though my story might have wanted to go over there, they're clearly over here, and we need to find a way to meet them. And that's exactly what we're practicing in a metaphorical way.
But
So
Evelyne,
yes.
is it important, though, for your story to have a meaning, to convey a message, maybe even to call on somebody to take action?
There are a lot of different stories in this world. A bedtime story doesn't necessarily have the same purpose as a political rally story or a I just share gossip with you. Every story has a different purpose. It's wonderful to have a story with a message, but not every story needs a message. And, if we're going into the world of art, it's quite fun to make a story that makes just no sense and we're all left wondering. And that is still a story. So it depends what you want. For the purpose of an exercise like this, if you said we're doing one story at a time and it has to have a message and it has to have a deep meaning and it has to have a call to action, if you were experienced improviser storytellers, absolutely yes. But given that we're not a team yet, you haven't even done a training, that's a lot to ask and it won't work. So I'm happy if we just get a sentence that makes sense at this point. So let's do that again. Take the pressure off a bit, Sue, to drive the story somewhere, because it's not just your head. You've got 4 heads that we're going with. And if we're battling each other, it won't work. So every time a word falls, you have to adapt and go, oh, where does this want to go now? What do I do with thus? What do I do with force? Yeah, we breathe and see where we go. Let's see if we can be very lighthearted with that. In fact, Sue, you will kick us off.
Friday.
I
always
come
Home.
to
see
my
Family.
daring.
Staring.
Staring.
deeply
Evelyn, did you say daring?
Staring.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Staring.
Daring, okay, sorry. Into
The photo album.
No.
possibly
she
Wished.
I
would
feel
Something.
but
never
have
I.
expressed
fear
or
Jane.
to
Bob.
let's go to there. Okay. To Bob. Now at least the sentences made sense. We're building something that could become a story. Interesting. Interesting. So you see how every round you're improving. You're letting go of the idea that you are controlling the story and let it be somewhere else. That was interesting. Okay, let's see what happens if we put a little bit more attention on each individual doing that. We're going to do, not now, darling. Okay, sweetheart. Yes, darling, you can text me about it. Love you. Bye. He says bye, guys. And very excitedly will join his friend. We're going to do an expert interview, and I'm going to interview you or ask you to speak for about 20 seconds on a subject that you have no idea about and that makes no sense. But I want you to do so with great confidence and poise. So you are an expert. Bob, you are an expert in sustainable shoe polish. And I want you to speak for 20 seconds about the importance of dominating the market of sustainable shoe polish and why.
shoe polish has been around for hundreds of years, but it's never been sustainable. People are looking for products that are right for this time. They are tired of something that they can just throw away instantly without getting any sense of how it's going to affect the environment or our lives.
Perfect. That's it. That was a very concise 20-second speech. Thank you. Well done. How did that feel?
Good. I had to
You did really well,
really
just
call
saying
on
that
my
out of the...
imagination. I was pulling words and thoughts and images all into one bundle.
And very quickly so. So
Yep.
well done. Okay, let's fire this round so we don't give too much away. Let's go to Vanessa. You are Britain's #1 expert on kitchen oven providers with a twist. Please talk to us about what the twist is and what makes you the #1 kitchen oven provider with said twist. And action.
Kitchen ovens take up space and are not always efficiently used. So now we have the most amazing new twist that it can actually double as a dishwasher. So we have been developing this for a long time, and we have finally perfected this amazing new product, which is a double oven with one area of oven and one area of dishwasher. So it's also extremely efficient when using in the kitchen, because we can immediately put the dishes into the dishwasher, and it's the most efficient way of using space.
Beautiful. Well done. How did that feel? Just a quick snapshot.
I think it's a brilliant idea.
Actually, it's actually a great idea. I agree.
Why haven't they done it?
Was it hard for you to speak such nonsense spontaneously?
I talked a lot of nonsense, I think.
So you're used to talking
I've just
nonsense?
had an intensive few days with grandchildren, so I'm pretty on it.
Great. So it's interesting. So you're on it with talking like made up stuff. When it
I'm
comes
also,
to
like you, I work in, because I live in different languages, I'm bilingual, and I'm mostly talking, because I'm mostly talking a different language here at the moment. The one thing that did make me stop was I suddenly lost the English word for it. But otherwise, the actual concept is flowing.
And when you speak about the things you need to speak about, can you be that flowing as well, making up the words on the spot and the ideas?
Yeah, I do find it much easier to be, when I'm loyal to the one language, in terms of living bilingually.
Yes.
It's much easier to be in the main language of whichever environment I'm in.
Yes.
Whereas here I'm in a non-English environment. So
what was beautiful here is the fluidity with which you brought the idea forward, because you didn't know before you started where you were going to go.
it came all by itself. They do. That's how the ideas come, don't they?
They do. But isn't it interesting that when we speak on stage or on camera, often we think they won't. And they do.
Yeah, they do.
And they do. Especially when we're in this playful space, they do. And often when we see ourselves as very serious speakers, they don't, because we stop being playful. Right now, I'm taking you deliberately into a world of play so you can experience just how easy it is when you let yourself.
Yeah.
So with that said, let's give Sue Bailey an experience of just how wonderful it could be. Sue, we would like to hear from you as the sought-out professional expert on wallpaper removal in Great Britain, with a long-standing history of the most gentle ways of removing wallpaper. I don't really understand what they are, but you do. But tell us why using your new gadget, the wallpaper removal Slobberdop, is the only choice for professionals as well as DIY home builders.
Okay. Over the years, people have enjoyed painting walls, even in cave times to the present day. And I guess that there comes a point when you want to remove the old and replace it with the new. So you need a gizmo. and some gizmos are more efficient than others. And if you have something that is hot and steamy and explodes foam onto the walls, it melts and mushes all the paper or the paint, and it just trickles down, and then you mop it up.
Okay. That's it. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. So what I loved here was you started really strong with a problem solution idea. This is a very good idea for messaging. We start with a problem statement, and then I explain why what we have is a good idea. What I was missing was the conclusion, which is why I'm like, are you going to wrap it up?
I got lost because it was nonsense, and I couldn't sense I couldn't sense how to finish it.
So that means either the problem statement wasn't clear enough or the solution wasn't clear enough.
I think I didn't have the strategy of removing it clear enough, so I petered out.
Good to know, right?
That's what I think happened.
So when you are speaking, when you're building you want a thesis, an antithesis, and a synthesis. You've heard of those three parts of a speech? Okay. It's a really wonderful and very simple way of building a thesis, so a statement, a problem statement, or a statement, the counter statement, and then the solution, the synthesis, what that actually means for us as a result, a resolution. Pro against what is the solution. And so you started in that way, you said, when you paint, you started beautifully with history. Always we've had paintings on the walls, but you want to change it, what do you do? Because it all meshes up into one. That was a problem statement. And then you could have gone with another problem statement, which could have been the traditional methods tell you that you should use steam to remove wallpaper, that you should use color to add another splash of color. But let's face it, now you have to give me an idea. It's dull, it's boring, and it's time consuming. Now comes the solution. In comes the slobberdob. The slobberdob is a machine we have developed under conscientious scientific expertise that not only removes paint and changes wallpaper within seconds, it lets you add your own design, it lets you add your own ideas using generative AI and projects it onto the wall effortlessly. Should you ever wish to change it, you just press the right button on the top corner of the slobberdob and it will change the design. The slobberdob is the only machine known to provide you with excellent service and speed at a time that you need it and a cost that you can afford. We are slobberdob, and you will need nothing more. Right?
Love it.
I just made that up.
I can see what's missing. I can see why you were like, well, tell me more, and I've explained why, and I can see why it left a gap.
Great. So you started really well, not kind of, you started really well, and then you lost where you were because you didn't know about the structure. The structure is, if I put a statement up, a problem, I need to then explain what the problem of the original is for me to establish the solution of me.
And that's true to my life, because I never know where I am. Well, often I don't know where I am in the structure. That is just so true to my life.
So then that's what we can work on. And when you speak, this is important because you take people on a journey. They want to know, why are you talking to me? What on earth are you talking about? And where are you taking me? And that will very strongly, that will deepen your impact, exponentially. Right? Because somebody who doesn't know where they are can't take me somewhere, because I'm lost with you. I'm like, well, what are we doing? So for you, the lesson is, if I have a clear structure, I know what I'm doing, then I can take people with me. And that means they will also want to follow, because we don't like following someone that takes us in the middle of the woods and leaves us there. Without food, without clothes. It's Hansel and Gretel trauma all over. And unless you bring me a hut with sweeties, I'm out, I'm telling you. So what you might not know is that I did play Gretel in Hansel and Gretel when I was 5 on telly.
What you might know the script.
So I'm like, I'm in the forest again. Don't do this to me. Okay. So we've played quite a few impact games today with the idea of getting your creativity going, of putting you on the spot and gaining an experience of what to do when the attention is on you, but you don't actually yet know what to do. That was part of the stretch of practicing some grace, practicing what happens when I'm left to my own devices and seeing where your brain goes by default so that you can adjust and do things differently next time. I would love to know from you what you took from the exercises. Like, what are you learning? What are you taking away? And Ebot, if you have a chance of coming on the microphone and sharing your insight, that would be really amazing as well. Bob, are you starting? You made a sound. That means you start.
Yeah, I learned to trust myself, to not inhibit my imagination, my creativity, not to hold myself back.
Beautiful. Thank you. What about you, Vanessa?
Yeah, I'm reinforced as well. Generally, I do the speaking from source, what I call just plug in, just go, plug and go, and actually, I don't really think about the structure in the way that you were talking about, but it's innate by now. And it's great to have a reminder about positioning the problem, having some kind of counter, and then giving the resolution. That's
it's one structure, right? It's not the only structure,
yeah,
but
yeah.
it's a very useful, if you are positioning something, a very useful one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Thank you. Speaking from source, I call that the art of speaking from the heart. I think is one of the highest forms of speaking. When you plug in directly and let this run through, it's something I absolutely adore working with people on. To me, it is advanced level. It comes with the advantage that you are really, in a way, always ready. It comes with a disadvantage that it usually doesn't come out as short, snappy messages. And nowadays, where people need more and more short, snappy messages to capture attention and captivate an audience, because we all have a social media-induced ADHD or other neurodiversities or all diversities, we need to learn to formulate quick, insightful, punchy messages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where understanding structures comes in really, really handy. Yeah, thank you so much. Oh, we've got a camera image for Ebot. Does that mean you can speak to us, Ebot?
Sorry, I'm fidgeting with things here.
What did you take away from today? What are you learning?
I have to say thank you all for all the inspiration. And I think I would say that I probably wasn't prepared for this kind of workshop. I misunderstood the nature of the webinar. I thought it was a webinar. It's actually a workshop, but it was lovely to just listen. So I think next time I'll come a bit more prepared. So I have my complete attention for it. I was distracted between my work and listening, so I couldn't be as responsive as I would have loved to. Yes,
but what are you taking away? What are you taking away? You're still getting something.
Yes, what I've taken away is that when you're put on the spot, sometimes imagination just leads you through if you just let yourself go.
Nice. I like that. That's a good insight. Thank you. And
thank you all very much.
Come another time when you and give us your attention. That'd be really amazing. This actually speaks to something. Like, we are so used to people promising one thing and delivering another, that I can say, I'm offering you a workshop and you will think it's a webinar. You might even think it's just a sales call where she's going to talk incessantly about what she's going to sell us, because we're so used to it by now, aren't we? People say, oh, come to this really impactful thing. I'm going to do all this. And you lend it, and all they're doing is talking about themselves, talking about what they're selling and all that nonsense. It's very interesting. It gives us all a bit of a fatigue and a mistrust in people. It's actually really important to me to make a stand against that and back a stand for, no, I'm a real human. I'm a real person. I run a real small business, and I actually care about people, and I care about impact. And the biggest impact I think I can have is when we work, let's play together. And so you see what's possible. And every time when you come, it'll be a little bit different, because I'm not very happy about repeating myself 100,000 times. That's probably what killed my career in stand-up comedy. I don't like repeating myself. That's why I like videos. I record it as a video, watch it there, let me do the next new thing and develop. I love that. But what I'm really passionate about is helping you all develop your visibility, your freedom, your expression, so that you can be more of you and have more people listen. That's what it's about. And that's what we'll do at the Impact Amplifier, which is games like this and a lot more for 5 days in a row, pretty much, where we build on the experience and become really, really effective with going deeper and deeper into how do I speak? Who am I when I'm speaking? I would love to do some things actually as tasters as well, where you see if I speak as a different person, as a different character, how does that change? How do I use my voice? Where's my stretch? Because everybody has their stretch in a different place. So in September, I'm running this program called the Impact Amplifier, where we go very deeply into this. Here we're scratching the surface to get a bit of a taster, right? And I hope it tasted really good. So with that said, Sue, what are you taking away?
I'm taking away that I'm more relaxed than the last time when we played a role play. And I'm taking away that I am creative. I can think on my feet, but I also need to hold the whole as well as the part.
Yes. And that's a practice. Yeah, that's literally a mental practice, to hold the whole and then let yourself go into the parts. And the more we do that as a deliberate practice, the better we get at it. And I say deliberate practice because sometimes people say, oh yeah, just do it more often and you'll be all right. And it's like, if you do a bad thing more often, like I've learned to play the piano and I do this and it's not right, I can do it lots of times, I get better at that. You want to know to use your fingers correctly and then practice that. So deliberate practice with expert guidance brings you the fastest results. That's what Harvard found out. Harvard Business School. With that said, thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful rest of your day and see you again soon.